Right, guys, I'm going to try this without an intro. What I'm going to do, I am just going to wait here for 2, 3, 4 minutes. I'm going to see as the crowd builds up, and then I'll start speaking. So feel free to get a cup of tea, sit down, have a chill. I just want to set up a few things here. It's been a hard day, hasn't it? It's been a hard day. But I'm going to mute myself for 2 minutes or so. Feel free to jump into chat. And yeah, we're going to get this ball rolling. It's not as bad as some people are predicting, but at the same time, I'm not going to lie to you. It's not looking good. But I'll speak to you in 1 minute, guys. Right, bang that subscribe as you come in if you want to see that clock up on top rolling. I think my volume's a little bit too loud there. Let me know how I'm getting on, my guys. It's been a wild day, hasn't it? I'm not going to beat around the bush yet. It's been a wild day. It's what we were speaking about yesterday. Remember when I said I wouldn't be too surprised if this ain't the recovery and we start going back down? That's exactly what's happened. When we've climbed back up and then we've fallen again. We're going to talk about a few easy ways to sort of see what way the market's going. Look, it's not verbatim, but we will talk about how we can see where the market's going, how we can sort of predict whether it's a whole macro move or if it is a eVTOL sector move. WHD says sound test. Guys, let me know if you can hear me and we'll get this rolling. Right. So, day 33. Day 33 of this whole eVTOL challenge. ACHR, Joby, Horizon Aircraft, Vertical Aerospace, Beta Technologies, EHang, whatever you want. We'll talk about it. You know what? We'll start talking about a few different stocks as well on some of these live streams. Some of you guys wanted, I don't know, not a closing bell, but an evening stream. But I'll do them as and when I can. And I thought, do you know what? Today is probably better to go streaming than it is to go creating a video. Because there's a lot of pain in the market. There's a lot of panic. Some of it, look, is justified. But others, it's a little bit confusion, I think. Now, I've been getting a lot of comments recently. What should I do? Is it better to sell now? The mental space ain't great in this whole pullback. And I said, we'll just come on and speak about it because I can't address it all in a video and trying to package that all up and wrap it all up. And I'm not going to lie, I'm only home the last, 2 hours or so. So I wasn't going recording a video. I thought we may as well go for streaming. So, Christian Mike Guy, it was painful, but I'm sure we will see better days. We will. Do you know what? When it rains, there will always be sunshine again. We always say that. ACHR Aviation today, down 3.47%. Joby Aviation down 3.26%. Horizon Aircraft down 7.22. You guys wonder why I say it's always going to come back to 180. We're back at 180. We're going to keep bouncing around between this range of Horizon Aircraft. So if you're a long-term investor, great opportunity. I think 180 is my whole buy range. I've always said that. Who was it that said to me the last day, 186 is close to 180, so you may as well jump in? I had a feeling 180 was coming back. So 180 is back on the cards there. Is it going to go lower? We'll speak about it. S&P today was down 0.5%. Then what? Beta Technology is down 6.34%. Didn't we tell you about Beta? Beta, it was a dodgy one from IPO. What do we come in at? $30 with all the way down at 18.02 now. And I think there's a lot more pain to come for Beta Technologies. Great business. Great business. What do I call it? A beautiful investment. But the stock price at the moment, it's just too choppy. There's not enough knowledge about it. I just think Beta I wouldn't be rushing in on. Not anytime soon. Vertical Aerospace, I'll be honest, I didn't go into the market today. And that was actually out of pure... I thought about it. And I thought, I actually can't see signs of this reversing quickly. On Monday, I put out, don't look at your portfolio for 2 weeks. Yesterday, we had people celebrating that we're reversing. And it was why I said it in yesterday's live stream. I wouldn't celebrate too quick. At the end of the day, we were down to like, what, $7 with ACHR Aviation. Like, just because it looked green didn't mean over the... Like, if we pulled it back over the week, it was not green. And now what, we at 695. Are we going to go any lower? Mate, if I had a crystal ball, I wish I could tell you. Great opportunity to add. Am I adding at the moment? No, I'm not. I just can't see a reversal in the next day or so. I could be wrong, but I don't see one. Google beat on earnings, and looking at it after hours, it's still down, and it smashed earnings. And we were speaking about Google yesterday. Andrew, thanks for going live today, Liam. It was a rough day, but I'm fully confident going forward. 2026 is the year of eVTOLs. 2026, 2027, 2028, and so on, my guy. 2026 is a big year for eVTOLs. And do you know what? We're going to be here. Nathan, I feel the pain. Nathan, anytime I look at the stock now, I actually genuinely think of you, brother. Them $11 calls look a long way away, and even the $9 are looking painful. So I really do feel for you, my guy. Andrew says, howdy. Looking forward to what you guys have to say. Do you know what? If we see Dylan about, I might see if Dylan will jump on with us. We broke again. I know, my guy. Sound test, sound is good. Thank you so much. A $10 billion company with zero revenue will hit the hardest in a market correction. I think much lower levels coming. And you know what? You mightn't be wrong. You mightn't be wrong, my guy. So big shout out for saying that. Yeah, we're in a speculative industry. We ain't gonna beat around the bush. We'll call a spade a spade. These companies, they're unprofitable. So if you see the Magnificent Seven go down, you're gonna see these go down tenfold. So yeah. Is it time to buy? It depends on your position. Look, not financial advice whatsoever. I'm quite happy with my ACHR and Joby position at the moment. I wouldn't be diving in. If I had spare cash available that I didn't really have much to do with, potentially, but I am looking at entering Horizon Aircraft, Vertical Aerospace, and I do want a bit more ACHR, but I'm not desperate to jump in at these levels. I think, do you know when you're sort of caught in the medium where it's like it could go either way? We're on a seesaw at the moment. But look, if you're looking to get into ACHR, Joby, or you're not happy with your position, fantastic opportunity. I could easily see a 2x within the next 6 months anyway. So that's only my opinion. I genuinely, yeah. Both Archer and Joby are looking. Look, all of them are looking amazing at the moment. I still think Horizon Aircraft is being held up quite nicely. You guys are quite strong in Horizon Aircraft. As we say, there's not many big institutes, if any, big institutes in Horizon Aircraft. So it's being held up by retail, and you know what? You guys are doing amazing. So big shout out. Burn up, still turned up. Thank you so much, guys. If you're interested in the whole drone sector, ONDS we're speaking about on Dash yesterday. This is who we're speaking about. Fast CNC, great guy to follow on X. He does spaces, he covers them all the time. And do you know what? If he doesn't know, he'll connect you with the right people. So do jump in and follow Vast CNC on X. You know what? We've got 2 subscribers as we're just sitting there. Thank you so much, guys. I just can't believe the amount of you that turn up. It doesn't matter whether it's a impromptu live stream. You guys just turn up. And we just sit here and chat like a community. So thank you so much. Feel free to make that wheel spin. Hopefully upwards and not downwards. But look, you do you. I have a feeling it's more macro than anything. I think the AI bubble is showing stress with recent earnings. If we believe in the tech future, in tech and it's the future, we shouldn't be terribly concerned. Yeah, like, I'm not too concerned on the whole long time horizon. I'm not concerned whatsoever. I'll be dead honest with you. When I see some comments on our videos lately, I can actually really see myself in some people. And it sounds a bit sad, but I can really see like what I used to be like when I first started investing and the whole emotional roller coaster with it and wondering what I should do and looking to others to give me validation that I'm okay. You know what? I can't tell you that we're okay because I'm in the same boat, but I would be 99.9% certain we are okay. This is not, unless something catastrophic happened, this will pass and we will be back to green and everyone will be saying they're buying again at $9 and they can't get enough of it and they're buying every single dip. And do you know what? I take it with a pinch of salt when I hear people saying they bought a dip today and they bought this today and they bought that today. You'll very rarely hear me say I've bought today or a big position today. I might say I put a little in today. But I don't know how all these people have so much cash available and like every single dip they seem to be buying. They're either the best investors known to man or they might be synthesizing something because I don't know. I could easily say I bought today on what ACHR Aviation at 675, but to be honest, I didn't. Dave, you called me right. I bought lower than I otherwise would have. Saved me some bucks. Dave, do you know what? Big shout out. And again, look, this space ain't actually that hard to be right on. Sometimes. Like with B, it's a 50% chance in it. It's either going to go up or it's going to go down, especially on an IPO, because there's not much around at the moment. So really, it's depending on who's interested in it at the moment. And I just didn't see that interest. I didn't see that passion coming from either retail or from the institutes. IPOs are pretty dodgy to jump in on anyway. Who's going in on the SpaceX IPO if they can? Do let me know. I love SpaceX. I've said that before. I love SpaceX, and I think that whole making life multiplanetary. I'll follow them. Look, I'll watch that. Is it NASA space flight? The guys are great over there, but I don't think I'll be jumping in investing in them. And people are going to say you're wild to be backing against Elon. I'm not against Elon. I think what Elon does, I think Tesla is a marvelous business to be invested in. The thing that worries me with SpaceX, it feels like, when am I going to get my money back if it's all being pumped into going to Mars? and they can say there's going to be a merged economy. What, am I going to get my money back when I'm 167 or something? Like, look, could be completely wrong, but I feel like there's so much money required to burn money to get to Mars. So that's just my opinion on that. First thing, see, I went deep into Ondas Holdings today. Google is down due to capex guidance. I didn't actually watch the or listen to the Google's earnings. I seen they beat, but you're saying it's the capex guidance that is pulling it down. Google is planning to drop 180 billion into data centers. Did you see? Is it XAI are going? Is it amalgamating with SpaceX, and they're going wild into them data centers? C, you were there. You were there. Weren't myself, Chris, and Francisco speaking about data centers before any of these data centers was coming about? Anyone that doesn't believe me, I can drop the streams. They're probably a year old now, but we were speaking about data centers ages ago. And I feel like I don't want to jump back on the hype now because it just looks like I didn't have a clue and I'm just jumping on the hype. But no, we genuinely were speaking about could Rocket Lab go in with space-based data centers, and it was all to do with IonQ and Capella Space. So yeah, genuinely we were. LMAO, yes, sir. I'm just forgetting about the calls and going back to accumulation across the board in this market. Nathan, do you know what? Hats off to you, my guy. And do you know what? Hats off to you, because you were calling, saying that you were going for calls way before any of this happened. So you weren't letting hype or trying to emphasize that you're doing something you're not. I know you were completely honest about that because you called that way before any of this dip happened. So I just feel sorry for you, my guy. Christian, we are all we're in this, all of us together. I was thinking about that today. Ooh, I nearly knocked the tea. I was thinking about that today. There's what? 4,416 of us. What would we say? Like, the majority of us invest in like ACHR, Joby, etc. And I was thinking, like, some people have $1 million in them. Some people have $100 in them. But can we agree on there's probably an average going across the board of between $10,000 to $20,000 invested between each investor here? We'll take Vaccine C out. I know he doesn't. He just comes here to support us. So big shout out to him. But 10 to 20,000. If we just round that up to 5,000 people, that's between 50 and 100 million. That is pretty insane, isn't it? I'm not making up numbers. Jump in, do it on the calculator. $50 to $100 million in this eVTOL industry within the Hustle Brothers community. That is insane. And we could be overshooting it, we could be undershooting it. But I do know there's 2 or 3 guys that have. I know one guy, I don't want to name him out, but has 250,000 shares, is it? So, yeah. Dave says, I got whacked with AMD today. What happened to AMD today? I genuinely, if I don't invest in a company, I don't really pay too much attention. Oh, you fairly got whacked. Could be a great opportunity to jump in and load up. But minus 17.31% down. How do we feel Nvidia's gonna go? Have Nvidia had earnings yet? I'm not sure they have. Like, Nvidia was down 3.4% today. Yeah, that's interesting, you know. I don't think Nvidia's had earnings. Guys, do jump in. Let me know, has Nvidia had earnings today? Or not today. Have Nvidia had earnings yet? I don't believe they have. How do we believe Nvidia's going to go? I know Dylan's quite bullish on AMD. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I'm pretty sure he's bullish on AMD. So I do feel sorry for you, my guy. Money Pitcaster says always time to buy if you believe in a company, but don't. I think I don't know. Did you mean to add to that, my guy? But yeah, there is always time to buy if you believe in a company, and I think don't get stressed out. There's so many people saying, and look, I said it to Dylan the last day. It was about a week and a half ago. My trading portfolio. So it was my second portfolio to break 200k. And I said it was the most painful thing when it dropped back. I haven't even looked at it. It went to 184 at one stage, and I don't know where it is now. I don't even. Do you want me to do it here in front of you guys? I don't even want to know where it is. 152. That is insane. So yeah, I got 50k just pushed out of my trading account. Pretty painful. But yeah, so if you don't have money available, don't worry. There's always opportunities there. Tony says, cheers. I can see Hover being acquired by ACHR, just a hunch. Do they need to acquire them? They have Lillian's patents. What are we saying that Horizon Aircraft have? Like, this is no disrespect to Horizon Aircraft. They're valued at like 100 million. They have their warehouse. They have a half-scale model. ACHR could do it in a heartbeat if they wanted to, if they just put 5% of the capital into it. So, yeah, I don't think they would be acquired by ACHR. I could be wrong. If that happened, how would it impact the stock? I can't say. Oh, how would it impact Horizon stock if ACHR acquired them? You'd just be converted into ACHR shares. That would be a strange one, because it's a whole different market. But then I want ACHR to focus on what they're doing. I don't really want them acquiring enough of business to then go after something so speculative, in the fact that what they're doing is quite speculative anyway. I want them to succeed with, I feel like they have so much on their plate at the moment with the Midnight and then the hybrid Midnight and then licensing out. I don't know if I'd want to see that. I don't see that happening. Yeah, I agree with you, Anthony. Big shout, my guy. Is it possible for ACHR to go bankrupt before getting FAA certification? Oh, it's possible. It's possible for any of these companies. It's possible for Joby to go bankrupt for FAA certification. Like, any of these companies can go bankrupt at any time. It just takes something wild. Like, there's nothing saying that FAA certification is going to happen. If FAA certification gets pushed on the road, stock price is going to fall. And then, well, Joby's pretty safe now because they've pushed through the, 1.2 billion. So they'd be safe for a while. But yeah, like, this is what we got to realize. These companies can go bankrupt. Like, I do go on about Horizon Aircraft before they got the cash. That was why I was so worried about the cash runway. But like, just because ACHR and Joby have in the billions in cash, their burn rate is still insane. Is ACHR 140 per quarter? 140. I'm nearly saying it's between 110 to 140, and I can't remember Joby's off the top of my head. ACHR isn't going bankrupt. They have tons of cash and they can get cash from many different places if needed. And that's the thing. Like, it's possible. It can happen. Any of these companies can. But Archery is pretty stacked where they are. SpaceX IPO is going to be crazy, and it really is. The only thing is, the people that buy in on IPO, they're not allowed to sell for, is it 6 months? I can't remember how long they're not allowed to sell for. And will the craziness have died down before the... I do believe it's going to pump. I really do believe it's going to go wild. But is it going to have died down and go under the IPO price? Do let me know. Tesla robots could build Mars and repair our bodies. I feel like Tesla robots could do anything. What do you think about that whole Optimus? I think they've discontinued the Model Y and the Model X, haven't they? Oh, not the Model Y, the Model S, isn't it? And the Model X. And they're going for $1 million next year, and that'll extremely ramp. I've been wondering if Textron would buy an eVTOL company to create an aircraft. And Cessna Bell Beechcraft have developed their own tech or skip VTOL for classic aircraft companies. VTOL is very interesting, yeah. Like, we're very bullish on the whole VTOL, but how do they say it in physics? There's a payoff. So by having VTOL capabilities, there's a massive payoff in performance over just straight CTOL when it comes to distance, when it comes to aerodynamics. And there's always a increased failure point when you have the rotors that can rotate. With XAI, big idea is data centers in space, solar powered and cooling issue solved. Agreed. Joby got the cash just in time. ACHR could be in trouble given half the market cap of Joby, and if they do raise more capital, it will drop their market cap even more. It's what we have to look at it. Why did Joby need that extra billion? Like, they needed the extra billion because they're going to spend more than ACHR Aviation. It's a completely different business. Like, it's easy to compare ACHR and Joby at the moment because they're just two aircraft that can vertically take off and land. But when we actually compare the two businesses, they are miles apart from each other. I know Joby have plans at some point to sell S4, but I think it would be silly of them to be selling S4 while trying to ramp up. No, you could maybe initially try and sell a few S4 just to get the capital in, but yeah, the whole $1 billion is to, I believe, to create the whole operational service. Yes, they say it's to get through FAA certification. I think that's just a bit of jargon, in my opinion. I think the majority of that cash will go into creating the Uber-like service. And before some smart aleck comes in and says they have Elevate OS, yes, but they still need to operate the service. You need customer service. You need everything. You pilots. It's just a whole different business. What's up, big shot? Oh, bag of holding. Vaccine C. Oh yeah, space data centers, helium-free, asteroid mining. Mr. Days is spinning out while space talk. Chris actually reached out to me, Chris Bell, yesterday, asking would I go back to it. I'm toying with the idea. I don't know. My problem is when I went into the whole space sector, and yeah, I was having a great time. Like, I was living my best life. I was collaborating with all my heroes from when I started YouTube. I had the likes of Matt Money, Dave G, Vince, Scott O. We had Jacob. We had Space Investor, and Man. But at the same time, I felt like I was letting you guys down because like, we started as an eVTOL channel, and then all of a sudden I wasn't able to keep up with the eVTOL. So I don't know, am I spinning too many plates by going back to talking about space again? However, I would be interested in an opportunity of doing, I said it, either live streams like this, and we can convert it to, we can talk about eVTOLs, but yeah, we can talk about anything. Or we could do a weekend stream where, like, we just catch up. about the whole stock market. I think there's a massive gap in the market there, and the 71 people watching there. So I think there is a gap in the market. Guys, do make that subscriber clock or whatever we're going to call it spin for me, please. Smash that subscribe button. I really appreciate everyone being here. And you know what? If you want more live streams like this, make sure you're smashing the like button as well, because we need to get it out to more people. Really, the more people we get it out to drives it out to more people, or drives out to even more investors. More investors that come in, learn about the company. We create more investors. We create more investors. They do extra research, and they actually might tell us something that we don't know already. So it's how this whole game works. This is such a bad way to put it, but I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Thank you. Well, Saddle says, I'm going to double up on my entire eVTOL investment. I'm not sure if Joby or ACHR sometimes in the next 2 weeks. You actually put, was it 10% in Joby? Good shot, my guy. I like to see you spreading the risk between both ACHR and Joby. I would be very upset if loads of you guys follow us on the journey and we're in this together. We're speaking every day, and for one company to do a lot better than another, and you feel like you've lost out. So, in my opinion, that's why I like to have my fingers in many pies. Tony says it's surprising to me the existing classic aircraft company are not leading eVTOL. I wonder if traditional aircraft will survive, as eVTOL is so much more safe. I don't know. I think there's always a need for a classic aircraft, unless battery power. But it's not even battery power. Then I'm not too up on actual VTOLs, aircraft themselves, and the efficiency of them. I couldn't imagine them being great, because especially if it's like a jet, you are going to be burning a lot to fight gravity. Whereas in CTOL configuration, you're actually being a lot more aerodynamic and there's a lot less drag. eVTOL, you're going to need massive, massive improvements in technology. If there's a market crash now, great job to Joby for diluting before it happens. Yeah, Joby in an incredible safe place then. Stepchild space. 2,200 shares here. Big shout out. 2,200 shares is amazing. Jonathan says, click the like button. Please do. I would love it. Smoking Gaming, yes. Did Joby sell the shares? I believe they did. I believe it was Monday. Don't quote me on that. It could be Friday, but I believe it's Monday. Dave says, or Tony says, to Dave, he'll look into it. Bag of holding, what was the price they sold them for? And I'd have to look into that myself. I don't even know what percentage of warrants, or what percent of. I've lost my head here. Convertible notes compared to common A stock. If anyone does know, do jump in and let me know. I'm thinking down the road, Dave says. Eddie, my guy, have you worked any more on our Mars craft? Eddie, yeah. I was thinking about that last night. Cracking idea. Supposedly, BlackRock recently purchased enough ACHR non-voting shares to solidify a floor for ACHR stock price. Eddie, if you can you send me that link, my guys? That's solid news. Dave says, yeah, that lawsuit was in the news today. I wonder if it had an effect. What do you think about the Joby lawsuit against ACHR? I've done 2 videos on it. I don't particularly want to get down that whole avenue at the moment. You'll know why in due course. I just don't want to get down that whole rabbit hole at the moment. I promise you, it is good, guys. But you'll understand why. WHD says, is the FAA certification becoming a political issue, or why is it taking so long? It hasn't been done before. Like a political issue, I think it doesn't help with government shutdowns, etc. But really, I don't want to blame the companies either. The FAA can only go as quick as the companies do, and then the companies can only go as quick as the FAA do. So it's what came first, chicken or the egg? Political issues could play a part in it. I don't think it helps when you're getting government shutdowns left, right, and center, and then you're getting conflicts happening here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, maybe. Can ACHR operate in the Middle East without FAA certificate? Yes, they can. They can do it under the GCAA, if I remember off the top of my head. Yeah, I believe they'll get that before they'll get FAA certification. But remember this, they still have to confirm that they can VTOL with a pilot on board. And look how tables have really turned, guys. It's me now coming out and saying, no, they can't do it because, until they prove that they can VTOL the pilot on board, I couldn't see them operating in the Middle East. I couldn't really see them going for operations under a CTOL variant. Some people are saying they're going for whole seat. Some people have really got it mixed up in the head that they only acquired Hawthorne for CTOL capabilities. That is not what it was for. That would be a very expensive runway, my guys. It's going to be the whole hub in the LA. You've heard Adam say it before. So Adam put up another post yesterday, and like it's all coming together. These are all pieces. And at the time, you might not realize that this piece plays into the whole ACHR picture. But eventually, over time, you start connecting the dots together. And our job is to try and connect the dots quicker than the rest of the market connect the dots. That's really what happens. But ACHR have the framework and plan laid out on the board. They know what they're doing. Don't get it twisted. They're not just going buying some random. Look, I said on the thing, I thought it seemed a bit strange, and I thought, why is it just a random airport? And then when I actually thought about it and we started breaking down why they get in it, and Adam came out and said it was going to be their central hub, then I could see why they done it. And then I thought, great opportunity. And then that whole Salinas and Coca-Cola facility that they're looking to convert into a assembly factory. It's all coming together. It's all coming together quite nicely. I said it to Dylan the last day. I wonder have they ever put in something to see if they can acquire Salinas. Wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Dave says, I want to see the kind of revenues ACHR's defense can bring in could increase the runway. ACHR defense can bring in some insane revenue. I don't even have to know that. Both that and Joby's defensive side with L3 Harris, they both can bring in insane. That can keep the business afloat on its own. I believe that. I believe it can keep the business alive while they scale up. And I think that is one of the benefits. But at the same time, ACHR Defense and that partnership with L3 Harris and Joby, there's no guarantee. We're kind of banking on that, like, look, we're partnering with Andrew, we're partnering with L3 Harris, and we're going to get all these contracts. There's still no guarantee. However, it ain't Andrew or it ain't L3 Harris's first rodeo. So we do believe that they can get there when they do get there. And I believe it's when we do get there. These are going to be some big deals. In my opinion, Joby does not want to lose operational control of this new tech. Control and discipline makes a safe operation. Safety is everything at this point. And Contour, you have hit the nail on the head there. Safety is everything. We done that recent video on what would happen. I have to be careful what I say. What would happen? What if something happened that was not meant to happen with a passenger on board? It could wreck the industry. So that's why safety is paramount. And that's why you will see not only the FAA, but both ACHR and Joby dot the I's, cross the T's, because they can't afford They don't only owe it to themselves, but they owe it to each other. They owe it to the US to get these up and running. CEO of Uber just said robotaxi driving is $1 trillion industry. I've seen that just before I came online. And the way I see the air robotaxi business, they have the 500 WHKG batteries. Now they've been shipped for. Robotaxis, it's going to be big. It's going to be insane. I just hope it don't. Yes, it's going to build congestion. But the thing is with robotaxis, it's going to bring the price of the likes of an Uber and that down. And when something becomes insanely cheap, that's when it worries me about the price of eVTOLs. At the moment, we can argue that time saved is better than the money saved. But you know when the money gets that little, what the Cathy would say, 20 cents per mile eventually. I can't see that happening, but if it did, I'd love to see the cost framework of both the Midnight and the S4 when they first come out. No, ACHR doesn't have to worry about it because it'll be the actual operators. And if the operators want to take a hit while the business is scaling up, which wouldn't surprise me either, and it wouldn't surprise me with Joby if you get knockdown prices at the very start too, just to build a bit of trust and momentum within the industry. Then at the same time, the lower your margins are. Is it just a spiral and hold on? Air vehicles and that will give us twice the range, really open up our industry. That's why I'm in it. BlackRock has significantly increased position in ACHR Aviation, reporting ownership of 52 million shares, approximately 8.1% of the company. And there's me being all brave, saying between the Hustle brothers, we probably have around $50 to $100 million in ACHR and Joby, and now 52 million shares and approximately 8. BlackRock owned 8 my guy. That started on the NASA pitch, still working on an orbital debris solution. I'm telling you, me and Eddie are going into business, you know. Me and Eddie we're gonna take off the world. Do you know what? I might sack this off and we might go back into space. And me and Eddie will just go into business. WHD says if a flight that produces income does not happen in 2026, how much damage will that create for ACHR? I don't think too much for ACHR. I think most of us are projecting 2027 rollout. I would actually be more interested in how much damage would it do for Joby, because I think they are banking on getting revenue this year on the S4. I know people are going to jump in and say, oh, Blade's getting revenue. No, I mean S4. ACHR, I believe, have until about Q2 27. Then there'll be a few worries. Bagger Hunt says the eVTOLs should use, I don't want to say that word, test dummies as proof, not risk humans the way it's all the matters. I want to see Joby or ACHR flying for grab in the future. The event is coming up at the end of March and will be selected for EIPP program. Any thoughts? Would it fly before earnings or more pain expected? Are we talking about ACHR or Joby? I think Joby are going through flight tests left, right, and center at the moment. ACHR, I am hoping, I am crossing my fingers and toes that we get a transition. But it might wait till the next earnings call. It may wait until the Q1 earnings call. I didn't think of that. EIPP being announced, I think if the EIPP gets announced in a market like this, I don't think it's going to have much of an effect either. I really don't. We're saying it's catalyst, but you need some You need some big catalyst to move it in a market that's being suppressed at the moment. Just watch the S&P. I'm telling you, if you see the S&P at a few good days, you'll know macro is recovering. But yeah, I wouldn't. You know, yesterday when I was like, it wouldn't surprise me too much about the turnaround because the S&P was still dodgy, but yet ACHR and Joby made a recovery. They went up like what 2%, but then people are forgetting where have they dropped from. You're always going to get these ebbs and flows on the way down. So I'd just be very careful trying to predict the market, especially in these conditions. I stick by my word. I wouldn't look at my portfolio for 2 weeks. Something could give, and we could go back to a nice forward momentum. But yeah, I wouldn't look for 2 weeks, and it could go longer. It really could. If you had the money and needed to pick a new position today on the dip, what would you be tempting? I'd need to listen to AMD's call to see what's gone so wrong there, because I believe over the next few years, AMD is going to run up. Rocket Lab, my beautiful Rocket Lab's down 10% today. So if I want to be safe, Rocket Lab's still speculative. I'll put it in Rocket Lab. What's looking more beautiful, ACHR or Joby? I think ACHR has catalysts coming up sooner, but Joby's catalysts are massive. FEA certification. You can't write that off. Like, that is going to be monstrous. But then ACHR's being held down because every single person and their cousin believes that ACHR can't have her, or ACHR has never transitioned and it's a new. We're getting every excuse known to man. I'm an Arsenal Football Club supporter, so I'm used to this excuse after excuse and change the excuse, move the goalpost, and etc. But yeah, I feel like ACHR Aviation is a bit like that, where people love to have something to give out about. And I feel like ACHR Aviation does take the brunt of that. Now, what are people going to say when they do transition? I have no doubt. They have the money to do it, my guys. I don't know why you'd be backing against a company when one company has now proven that it can happen. Why would you be backing against another company? I don't know. Some of you Horizon guys, look, great opportunity if you want to get in there, but I don't know. I've always said 1.8, like, you can't, like, go against me. Yeah, I've always said 180 is my range. So why would this be my great opportunity to get it back just in my range? I think everything else at the moment is having some great deals. The getting ACHR under the $7 is quite good, but I still think, are we going to hit 650? Joby, are we going to break that $10? I'm going to be honest. If I had to today, and I would be able to sleep at night, I'd go into Rocket Lab. I will go into Rocket Lab. And I know that's a bit biased, but yeah, that's what I would do. Is ACHR working on autonomous flight? Yes, they are. My guide, they're also partnered with NVIDIA with the IGX4 platform, so they are going for autonomous flight as well. WHD, yes. Why do you think they haven't unveiled the type conform? You ask me this question every day, and it's gonna be the answer is gonna be no different until something comes out. I do not know. I genuinely don't know. Do you think they're hoping for changes to the SFAR? I don't even think it's that deep. I don't know. We're just after Christmas, really. Like, I'm not that worried. The Arch Midnight aircraft that hasn't hovered is bigger than any eVTOL that's hovered. They are battling the square cube blower and losing. Bag, can we agree? If they do it, you will be pleasantly surprised. I'm not saying you're going to be bullish on it, but do you agree that ACHR have something going for them if they prove this? You're going to say, no, you can't prove it, it's square for square and etc. If they do prove it, my guy, let me know. Guys, do make that wheel spin for me, please. I beg you, make that wheel spin. Bang that subscribe button. Also, bang that like button. You guys are getting very good at banging that like button, and I'm really enjoying it. Do you like these live streams on the, not even impromptu, like I could start scheduling them. If they hover for 20 minutes, when do you see, like, unless you're going out a helicopter for rescue, when do you see a helicopter hovering for 20 minutes in the one spot? That hover is very intense on any vehicle. I don't believe their use case they need to be able to hover for. You're going to say on the safety laws they need to be able to hover in the one spot for 20 minutes. But if you're right, you're right. But do let me know. Yeah, guys, let me know. Do you like the live streams? Do you prefer if I go back to video? Well, I am gonna continue doing videos. I just thought today I better jump in and show that it's not all disaster. Yes, I wouldn't be firing my life savings in there. I'd still be adding. Still applies the fuel to the fire we were saying yesterday. But I wouldn't be going overboard. I think this market can swing every way. Do you know what? Let me tell you a fact I believe in. Sometimes the best action is no action. Don't do nothing. And I think some people are trying to seek assurance that they're doing the right thing by holding and by not selling. There's a 50% chance you're right. You're either right or you're wrong. Why are you invested in the companies in the first place? Has anything changed? Buy the stock price. Has anything changed? And don't say, yes, they haven't transitioned. They didn't transition yesterday, so why were you in it yesterday? You get what I mean? Now, if we're having the same conversation in 6 months' time, then I could say, okay, have they addressed it? No. Yes. And then we can work from there. But why are you invested in the first place? Traffic helicopters hover over my house for 10 minutes. Yeah, because I thought 20 minutes is going to be insane, and that thing would be like thumping, wouldn't it? Yes, love the live, and they are good time for me. What time zone are you, my guy? Because I think you would cry if you knew my time zone. Tattoo says, I'm driving on my way back from work. I'm enjoying the live video. Big shout out. I love it. Where are you based, Tattoo? No. I appreciate that, you know. I appreciate what? 68 people sitting there on a random. Well, to me, this is Thursday. But for most of you guys, it's Wednesday. Yeah, look. I'll try and make time for live streams. I cannot guarantee it every day. I remember when I done Rocket Lab streams every day. Look, I've said it before. I don't believe in burnout. I think burnout can be man-made to an extent. Look, I'm not saying that you could just go all day every day. Yes. If you're stupid, yes, you will burn out. But live streams can be intense. They can be very intense, and I don't like them being repetitive. And I found that sometimes when we were talking about Rocket Lab, it got very repetitive, and we felt like we were diving into the same topic, having the same conversation every day. So I think what can be quite good, if we focus on videos for extreme news, then we can maybe do a little short about it if it's good news, or a little short live stream if it's good news. But I genuinely believe that live streams are probably better on the bad days, because on the good days, everyone's happy. There's nothing I really need to say to you guys on a good day. Everyone's happy and it's all going well. If you want to know why it's going well, I can bang a video up and let you know the story. I think you're going to be seeing a lot more of me during these bad days, because I'm getting a lot of comments where it's people are struggling to know what to do. And I'll never give you financial advice, but I do genuinely feel sorry for some of you guys, because I honestly, in this hand and heart, I can see myself in you guys. I can see that emotion, that fear, that panic, that dread. I went through a stage earlier in my investing thing. I'd have trouble sleeping at night with some positions because it was just so uncomfortable. Genuinely, I'm not saying I don't think about the stock market. I think about the stock market every day, every single day. I think about it more times than I should. I say that, and that's why I think weekend stream could be good, because I can't get it out of my head. But my own genuine positions, not necessarily. I wouldn't be thinking like, oh my lord, I'm down whatever. Yes, it's a bit uncomfortable. That was the first time I've looked at my account since it was at 184, and I did say like a week and a half ago it was at, I think it was 203,000. So yeah, I wouldn't put myself in uncomfortable situations like that, but to actually just hear the news and have a bit of a chat with people doesn't bother me. Does it make sense to buy in order to lower the average cost per share? Yeah, but I wouldn't get too bogged down in trying to. I know people love to dollar cost average down, but we can get into the nitty gritty of investing if we really want. But I think genuinely, as a retail investor, did Warren Buffett say it? An idiot with a plan is better than a genius with no plan. Yeah? So we can get into the nitty gritty of what is the best and can we get it at the best cent, etc., and get our cost average as low as we can. But sometimes you miss some great opportunities because you won't buy lower than your cost average. Like, eventually, if this all works out, your average is going to go up. And how many times will you have missed a great opportunity at a nice price because you were focusing too heavy on that dollar cost average? So I don't want to get too bogged down. If you want to put a limit order in, you can. But if you have the capital available and you really, really want to get in, I just get in, not gonna lie. Helicopter is always brute force hovering. It really is. Mark said it many, many times. It's beating the air into submission, where a plane beautifully slices through the air. Yeah, the helicopter just beats into submission. Interactive media. Add Rocket Lab to your commentary. I can start adding Rocket Lab to the commentary. We'll start talking more about Rocket Lab. The only thing is, I am very, very interested in Rocket Lab. And I know the majority of you guys follow me for eVTOLs. So I will always talk about Rocket Lab if someone asks me about Rocket Lab. But I don't want to get bogged down about Rocket Lab because this was an eVTOL. And I don't want to supply the minority and put the majority in jeopardy because they're expecting eVTOL content, and then that was probably the worst way to say that, wasn't it? Enjoying the videos. First one I've seen live. Paul, big shout out. Okay. Paul, we do them every Sunday normally, eVTOL Weekly. It does normally be 7:15 Eastern Time, PM. I used to go live I went live every day for about 7 months. And when I say 7 days, I mean Sunday through to the next Sunday, not 5 days. But yeah, something I could look into, doing lives every day. Will we go for 5 days? Will we go after my opportunity of going maybe one day at the weekend and then eVTOL weekly then next day or later on? I don't know. You guys let me know. They should be able to have it empty for 20 minutes if they can lift and fly with 1,000 pounds, not stationary. They can move for more efficiency. I'm based in Denver, Colorado. Big shout out. Are the majority of you guys from the US? Do let me know. I would presume most of you are from the US. We need Todd here. Oh, we need to hear from you every day this year. You are going to hear from me every day this year, whether it's a video, whether it's a... Look, there was it 2 days ago? I explained why I wasn't able to. I had a blowout in the car. I had to stay at my grandfather's. And then yesterday, I actually went live from there. I had someone jump into the comments earlier on and said, "Fix your curtains. No one will take you seriously," or something like that. And I was like, this ain't my house. I can't just go up and start, like, fixing curtains, my guy. But yeah. Should ACHR give tours in the factory? That's up to ACHR. I don't think it'll affect the stock price. I don't want to discuss that. My strategy for buying super speculative and risky stocks. I can't see anything under that. Data cost averaging can be the siren song of the bag holder. Exactly, my guy. Like, you can go from something so serious to like something out of nowhere. Like the lives, good to hear real-time answers to the comments. Thank you. Do you know what? It's sometimes weird. I remember when I first started doing lives, it's like you get this imposter syndrome where it's like I talk about it every single day, but then there's something about going live. You're literally exposed. Like, anyone can ask you anything. So oh, big shout out. Great time to buy, but stay with your limits. Lots of positive news to come this year, Paul. That is the best. One of the best comments I've heard today. I appreciate live streams. It's nice to see fellow investors share information and support each other. And that's the thing. Look, I've said it before, guys. You won't see me in a suit and tie come in here and pretend I am the biggest retail analyst. Not retail analyst, stock analyst. I'm not going to pretend I'm from Wall Street. I think everyone knows. Everyone wants to. Everyone wants to be heard, yeah, and everyone wants their thoughts addressed. And me and Dylan were talking about the channel before, and we spoke about how we want to make it more relatable to people, yeah. And me come on with a shirt and tie. Number one, that's not me. You know, I work in a firm, yeah. So I am a normal working man, just like any of you guys. Yes, I did do well with Rocket Lab, but at the end of the day, I'm just like any of you. So there's no point me telling you that I never lose trades. I can bring you from this, that, and the other. Because I'll be honest, I can't. I really can't. You've seen me live lose on Redwire quite heavily, and for Archer was a better bet, and yeah. But at the same time, one thing you will get here is your honesty. You'll get emotion. I do fire from the hip sometimes. You don't know what you'll get. When I'm in a good mood, you'll know I'm in a good mood. When I'm in a bad mood, you'll know I'm in a bad mood. But do you know what? That's what people are. But I will always give you a reason why. Sometimes my logic will not be right, and you will be able to read straight through it and go, look, I think he's going down the wrong path. But that's what the comments are here for, to be able to steer me right. Because it's not only like me trying to help you guys. You guys are helping me. I'm not saying any of my theses are 100% right. I believe they're pretty strong. And because not many of you people go against them, I do honestly believe my thesis towards the eVTOL industry is pretty strong. But it doesn't mean it's right. And that's why, look, we pull each other's thesis out of each other and we make it better. You make me a better investor, and hopefully I can show you what I'm doing, and it might help someone. I like all things at all altitudes and orbits. You know what? First, me and you need to jump on another podcast to give up. Buy X shares at Y price. If price falls 50%, buy another X shares. If price falls 20, all the way to the bottom. This way you can always sleep at night because you always have options. That seems like a fantastic formula until your stock goes to zero. And then what happens? I try not to, and that's no disrespect. Like, if the stock's going up, that is great. That is fantastic. However, if the stock's going up, if I bought at X price, it may never fall 50%. And then you've never bought back in. What if it falls 42%? Are we going to argue over that extra 8%? I don't know. I don't put hard figures on anything like that. I don't put a hard formula on anything like that. But look, if it works for you, I'm not Warren Buffett. That could be the best option out there. So if that does help anyone, thank you so much for sharing that. I personally believe if something's going well, yeah, 100%. If something's going wrong, you're just adding and adding to something that's fallen. Because if something's dropped 50%, and then if it's dropped another 25%, what are we at now? Like this stock looks like it's doing something very scary. What are you more in now, Liam, Joby, or ACHR? ACHR. I'm not going to be around the bush. I am in ACHR more. I think most people know that now at this stage. I am in ACHR more. Respect the hard work. Big shout out, my guy. Best news I got today. I'm an idiot. No, you're not an idiot, my guy. I promise you. Texas, Illinois. Yes, you guys are all from the US. Texas, again. Love this show. Christian. In your opinion, where do you see Horizon being in a year, both in development and stock price? Stock price, very hard to say. I said I believe it's going to hit 680 at some point this year, and I stick by that. Where do I see them in development? Well, I'm just going off what Brandon said. And Brandon believes the full prototype will be done and they will be... So they said 2027. They'll be... So I don't believe they will have test flown it yet. But they'll be going into test flights of the Cavra X7. And that's exactly what I want to see. I don't expect it to go any quicker. If it does and they get partnerships and everything in the meantime, great. As long as they hit them timelines, and I believe the stock will start climbing just on the basis that he's doing exactly what he said in the tin. And I think that's one thing Brandon's very good at, is doing exactly what I said. However, it is easier to do that when your business is smaller. Just got back, posted that BlackRock ACHR link, but it got yanked on YouTube trying to get... Do you know what, Eddie? I can see the link then after the live stream. So what it is, I think any sort of links get flagged, shows me them at the end, and then I can put them back up. So don't be panicking, my guy. Smart Gaming. Yes, keep up the live streams, Liam. Thank you so much, my guy. What will it take for ACHR to hit 20? A very good year, my guy. It will take that transition to happen perfectly on time. The Q1 transition. EIPP to go well in the summer. It doesn't only matter what happens with ACHR, it happens what matters with Joby too. FAA certification needs to go swimmingly for Joby Aviation. We need to see Joby Aviation start to roll out and start creating revenue. with the S4 before anyone jumps in and say Blade already do. Then Q3 we need to roll out in the UAE. And then yeah, I believe at some point we will hit $20. I am pretty confident we will hit $20 at some point this year. I'm not saying we'll end at $20 because the end of the year can be a bit shaky, and especially the fact that we'll have less cash and they'll be worried about FAA certification. Yeah. I don't think it'll be $20 at the end of the year, but I do think we're going to hit $20 this year. That is not financial advice where I'd say seldom it hits $20 because I could be completely wrong. What are the next milestones for ACHR and Joby? So EIPP coming up. Oh, I forgot with that last one as well. Military contract as well. We need to hear what's happening with Andrew. I would like a military contract there. But what are the next milestones for ACHR and Joby? So we'll start with Joby. Joby EIPP, eVTOL Integrated Pilot Program. They are going to be selected. I'm certain they're going to be selected. That'll be next month. Then are we going to say... Okay, for bag, we're going to say the flight of the type conforming aircraft, power on, etc. I don't think it's a massive worry for me. Then are we going to hear more about L3 Harris? I'm not as pushed for Joby to be firing out about L3 Harris. I don't think they necessarily need that catalyst to come up. FAA certification could potentially happen before the Q3 rollout in the UAE. And the only reason I believe that, they've timed this dilution incredibly well, or they are very confident they are going into the final phase of FAA certification. Then it's the ramp up in manufacturing, and then look, we're starting to expect the 48 going into next year, and then we can keep going. I can keep going. ACHR Aviation transition. We need to see the transition. We need to hear more about Andrew in the defensive partnership. It'd be nice to get a defensive contract. Don't know if one will come about. EIPP selection will be next month. I think ACHR will be involved. Will they fly in the summer under the EIPP? Adam said there won't be passengers on board. I believe there will be passengers on board the S4 for Joby, and that could be even if FAA certification hasn't taken place. I'm putting that out there now. I believe there'll be passengers on board the S4 on the EIPP program because it states that you can have passengers on board as long as you're in late stage of development for testing routes. Now, it won't be revenue generating. It'll only be for testing. There'll be demo flights, but yes, I do believe on the S4. Not on the midnight. That'll be next year. Q3, UAE. Will they start delivering? And then FAA certification towards... I am projecting around Q2 2027. I don't want to get too bogged down in that until I get more information on that. BlackRock link got deleted. Google BlackRock ACHR Aviation pick NASDAQ link. Thank you so much, Eddie, my guy. FAA pilot on the type conforming is the next catalyst. So you don't believe the EIPP will be the next catalyst? CT USA, another USA. I've had ACHR for a year and a half now, and I've seen it fluctuate. I think max was $13. Would you be able to give your listeners a good time frame to sell and a good time frame to buy back in? It depends on whether you're a trader, you're an investor, etc. From that type of question, it doesn't sound like you are extremely long term. But I could be wrong there. That is not throwing a dig. But to be to be selling and then buying back. Okay, so you want to be in the stock, but you want to create more money from. Let me know, am I framing that right? You're selling, you want to sell ACHR, to get in at a better price and basically accumulate more shares. So, in my humble opinion, I wouldn't do it. I just genuinely wouldn't do it. I wouldn't go messing around. If you're long-term ACHR Aviation, don't go messing around with that. Don't go messing around buying in, selling in, because you can get caught out so easily with this. And it's such a narrow margin. I've said it with the Horizon guys where I would buy and sell Horizon, but I'm not too worried if Horizon goes up without me because I'm not extremely dependent on Horizon to do well. Yes, I will be gutted. I'm not gonna lie to you. If Horizon went up without me, I would be extremely gutted. But I'm backing ACHR and Joby massively. And you can do that 3 or 4 times. Yeah. But what happens on the time that you've done it 3 or 4 times and you've accumulated loads and loads of ACHR Aviation at this stage? And then you sell and ACHR Aviation does a run. What happens then? Do you wait for it to come back down? To which it may, I'm not saying it may never come back to, say, 650, but if it didn't, so say if ACHR Aviation ran, yeah, we're saying, so you said $13 there, so say it goes past $13. For it to go past $13, big catalysts have a lot. Big catalysts have a lot of substance behind it. So for it to go past $13 and say go to $20, I don't believe we're going to 650 unless something extreme happens. So you could get caught with your pants down pretty quick, and then you're gonna have to buy in at a higher price, and then you've put yourself through all this stress of trying to buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, and just because you've been caught on the wrong end once, you could set yourself back to exactly where you were at the start. Plus, you know, owe tax. It's my opinion. I think if you're long term, just keep buying. I think there's ideal opportunities. I think now is a perfect opportunity. Do I think it can go lower? Yes, I do believe. Will it go lower? If I knew it would, I would say wait until it does, but I don't have a crystal ball. So, look, I wouldn't get too worried about buying in or selling and buying back. I said it yesterday. Remember, I was speaking about the fire, and I was speaking about Peter Lynch said, don't cut the flowers and then water the weeds. Because what happens is, as a stock starts doing well, and we're saying when we'd sell it, so as stock starts doing well, we cut that off, yeah? And when we start pumping money into the stocks that are not doing well. Well, there's no guarantee, because the stock has collapsed extremely. It doesn't mean it'll ever get back to that stage. I'm not saying ACHR Aviation will never get back to that stage. But because we've taken from one fire, so this fire's roaring over here. We've taken a branch from that fire and we start lighting fires everywhere. You're now hoping these will take. But what's going to happen to this one eventually? You're going to take so much from it that eventually it'll get burnt dry. And unless this one over here has taken off to the extent that that one has, you're actually in no better situation. In an ideal world, we all think we can put $1 in the stock market and make $1 million. Mate, that is extremely, 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 extremely unlikely to happen. And if anyone has done it, feel free to share your thoughts. But I said, what would you need to do in that situation? You have fire here and you want, well, why not? While this fire is small, keep throwing fuel on it. Your paychecks. Keep putting money in there. People say my account's small. But why is your account small? Either you're not putting enough in, or you haven't had enough time to put enough in. and both can be fixed. If you hadn't had enough time, say you're 25 years old and you're comparing yourself against someone that's invested for 30 years, well, of course you haven't had enough time. Doesn't matter how much you throw into it, like, you don't have enough time. But what will fix that? Well, time will fix that. People say they don't have X amount to put in the stock market. I'm not saying you need to throw thousands and thousands in the stock market. And I think if you're first starting off, I think that's the silliest thing you can do. Well, I have two opinions on that. I think, number one, myself and Reese have said it before, that the best thing that ever happened to me was I got my account wiped out twice when I was first starting off, both via leverage. And it taught me a very important lesson. You can't go anywhere quickly. The only place you go quickly is back to zero, yeah? Nothing waits around. You're never smarter than the market. You think you're smarter than the market. And leveraging that is designed to be very, very attractive and that it can't go wrong. Mate, yeah, the odds are stacked against you. Because for something to run up so big, you need to give it time. But the problem with leverage, the more leverage you do, you're exposing yourself to more and more risk. So you can't let the stock go down, but you're expecting it to fire up extreme amounts. Now look, again, 50% chance you're wrong. But when you're wrong, you're going to lose everything. Yeah. So number one, I think, yeah, you need to experience that pain, that loss, and not artificially. You need to feel like it's out of your control. There's nothing you can do about it. And you're looking everywhere to find out why it's gone wrong. And you're going to blame the market. You're going to blame someone for giving you financial advice. But at the end of the day, the only person that put the money in the account was you. And when you accept that this whole thing is your responsibility, then you start looking at it a little bit differently. And then you start asking different questions on how can I protect myself a little bit better going into it next time. But going back to how much you'd add into the market then. So then, some people say 10% of the paycheck, some say 20, some even say 50. This is my belief. This is not fact. I could be completely wrong. My belief, there'd be a lot more massive portfolios out there if people done, because genuinely, and this is not being cocky, anyone that I've spoken to in the stock market that has done well, and this is so bad to say, the whole way up, I've spoken to some, you've seen me collab with some big guys, yeah? The whole way up, it's not that they're any smarter than anyone else. They have experience, and they've put enough in the market, and they're not risking anything. Yeah? And I'm not saying you have to put $1 million in the market tomorrow. But when you say you're putting 20% of your paycheck in, actually put 20% of your paycheck in. Don't say, well, this week I'll put 20% in, but next week, oh, I can't really afford that. And then, oh no, but I want to go for a beer, or I'm going to put 20% of what's left at the end of the week. Or I'll make up for it next week. Because that never, like, and then you forget about it. And then you have a bad day in the market. And you're like, I'm not actually going to buy in today because it's a bad day in the market. But then Nvidia runs up. Does a mad monstrous rally. Oh, I need to buy into Nvidia. Actually, next day, no, I don't need to buy into Nvidia. I need to sell out, and I need to actually buy this growth stock that I've never heard of, but it's going to be the next Nvidia. I'm going to put all the money in there, and we're back to square one. The hardest thing to do on the stock market is to keep your money. Easiest thing to do is make money. Yeah, easiest thing. Like, every single one of you that are listening to this have made money on the stock market. You can't tell me you haven't. You may have lost extreme amounts of money, but there's been, at least, unless you've started investing today, there has been one day where you've made money. And everything in life is a accumulation of decisions. Yeah. In this, you only need to be right 6 times out of 10, and you are going to do just fine. Yeah? You're not going to be right 10 out of 10 times. Anyone that says to you they've never lost a trade, they've never done this, never done that, shots fired, by the way. But anyone that says they've never, or they always do well, they don't. They don't. Anyone I've ever spoke to, yeah? Some of them have some monstrous losses. Me and Francisco, when we were going through Redwire, and we were, this is the worst thing to do, yeah? When you start getting friends that have a nice amount of money, don't let the bollocks hang, yeah? Me and Francisco were just like, I'm going to put this in Redwire, I'm going to put that. And then we just kept like, every day we were like, who can put more in Redwire? And you know where that ended up. So just protect yourself, yeah? Diamond hands on ACHR then. Sorry about that rant, by the way. So it was a little bit random. That being said, would you recommend dumping more money into Horizon just because of the buying price is so low that I could buy hundreds of thousands of shares and hopefully it would climb up to $6? Okay. This is how you can get very, very caught out with penny stocks, yeah? Because in theory, that sounds great, yeah? That sounds absolutely amazing. That Horizon could go there. But there's a reason Horizon's down at 180, yeah? Let me just first explain. So I think, and this is not you, Tattoo, there's a few people out there that have been commenting lately about Horizon share price versus ACHR and Joby's. We need to look at the shares outstanding. We need to look at the market cap, yeah? So when you see 180, that doesn't mean that, and I'm not saying you think that, I'm just putting out there for everyone. When you see a stock at 180, let me raise it to $2 just to make it easier. When you see a stock at $2, yeah, that doesn't mean that it is 3 times smaller than ACHR Aviation, put it that way, yeah? So for ACHR, or for Horizon Aircraft to run to $6, yeah, it depends what you're comparing it to. Like, would I recommend dumping the money into Horizon just because the price is so low? It depends what you're comparing it to, yeah? If you are comparing it to J&J, Coca-Cola, well, put it this way, I can't see a 6x in anytime soon in J&J and Coca-Cola. Do I think there's a risk of bankruptcy there? No. Do I think there's a risk of bankruptcy in Horizon Aircraft? A lot bigger than J&J and Coca-Cola. But then a 6x. Okay, now we're going to weigh up like ACHR Aviation, Joby Aviation. They have a lot of catalysts coming up, yeah? We don't know how this industry is going to react to air taxis. And I mean that in a good and a bad way. In a good way, this could absolutely fire through the roof. And just because it doesn't mean, like, I think a lot of Horizon Aircraft investors get bogged down in the fact that the whole industry will put it up. But Horizon Aircraft investors need to understand that your pro to the Cavra X7 is that it's different to ACHR and Joby, and it doesn't go around cities. And it goes regional travel. But for ACHR and Joby to bang, it means that city travel, etc., is amazing. So it doesn't necessarily linearly correlate to Horizon Aircraft because it's a different use case. It depends where you are in your investing journey. Yeah. I would be very careful banking on a 6 or on a 3x on Horizon Aircraft. Instead of backing other positions. I've said it, Horizon Aircraft to me, and this is genuinely, to me, Horizon Aircraft is my lottery ticket. I said I'm gonna bang in $10,000 into Horizon Aircraft, let it sit there, completely forget about it. At least I will show validation to some of you guys that, look, I'm one of you guys. I'm invested in there. And there's a guy that absolutely hates me. What's his name? Dean. When I jumped into the Horizon Aircraft stream the last day, it was hustle bro for this, hustle bro for that. But and he said they don't show their trades. Genuinely, I'll do it live for you. I'll buy the $10,000 live for you. And anytime you want to see it, we'll just pull it up on screen. Yeah, it'll make it so much easier. I've said it before. I don't openly want to put my actual portfolio, and I've put my reason up. You go back to my first few videos, yeah, 2.5 years ago. You can see how much I had in Rocket Lab and I was accumulating then. You do the maths on what has happened since then, yeah? And then you can see some of my trades on X now and again. You just do the maths on what's happened there, yeah? But the reason I don't share my actual portfolio is Matt Money had people find where he lived and do things to his property, etc. So the fact that you're on here, I ain't doing that, yeah? But I showed you my trading account earlier. I'm pretty open about that one. Look, no one's gonna come and rob me for what 150k now. But yeah, if Horizon goes to $1 before the big one is made, I'll buy a bunch. If Horizon goes under the $1, I'm pretty confident, didn't Brandon say, that they can pull a lever with the Canadian government. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure they have levers to pull where they wouldn't get delisted, which in theory should bring them back over the $1, which potentially, yeah, if they go under the $1, yeah, Baggy, you could be right. Diamond on ACHR. Horizon almost to 5 one morning, but sank 250 by open. I was so upset, still thumped. I was excited. And that's the thing with Horizon Aircraft and any of them. If you want extreme upside, you need to be prepared for extreme downside. Again, any of the ones with extreme downside, potential for extreme upside. I think when you're new to investing, Horizon Aircraft is playing with fire. It's doing great. I love the story. I love Brandon. But yeah. Bought Kavana at 425, sold at 500. I didn't listen to my friends. Made good. Follow your gut. There you go. Kavana. I never actually got into Kavana. Do you know the other hustler brother? He was really big on Solana for a while. But yeah. I'm all in on ACHR. Why would I buy Joby? Are you asking me, or are you just is that a statement, my guy? Look, I've been here for an hour and a half. Do you know what? Guys, can you do something for me? Can you make that wheel spin? Yeah? Can you get that? There we go. Look, one guy there. Can we get 2 more? Can we get us to 420? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, some of my videos can get 50 plus subs. Yeah? And I can bring it up on the screen to show you if you want. Live streams don't do that. We don't get the same pull from live streams. They're much harder. I enjoy live streams, but look, someone's unsubscribed. Thank you very much for doing that. I'm asking, so why would you invest? So you're all in ACHR, why would you invest in Joby? Okay. Number one, we can say about I don't like being bearish on ACHR. Yeah? I am a massive ACHR bull. But if I was to say why do I genuinely invest in Joby? Because in any industry that is so speculative, you don't know what could go wrong. And there is no way I am going on this journey. And I got beaten by the flip of a coin. Yeah. The two different business cases. ACHR Aviation, tried and trusted. They're going down the selling of the aircraft. So they manufacture the aircraft, and in essence, again, I don't want to overuse this, they're like Android, where they get all their partners together, they operate the aircraft. ACHR Aviation, produce for 2.5 million, sell it for 5 million, goodbye, away you go, yeah? Something goes wrong in the midnight, right, send it back to ACHR to get it fixed. Oh, what? You have to pay money to ACHR Aviation for maintenance. Yeah, you do, yeah. Back you go, yeah? Joby Aviation. Over the next while, so it's hard to think about at the moment, but over the next while, this vertically integrated model, it's going to take a while to get going, yeah? And at the start, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very, very capital intensive when we first start out. And there's no guarantee it's going to work. I wouldn't be too keen on going complete vertical integration. When it works, it bangs, but when it doesn't, it flops. But because they're putting everything in-house, they need to create their own service, etc. That's all the risky side of it. However, they're producing the aircraft 1.3 million. Takes them about a year to pay that off. These aircraft can be in service for what? What did we say? 20 years, was it? So straight away, once the aircraft's paid off in year 2, you now have 48 aircraft that are now ready to work for you. Year 2, what are we saying? Are we going to double production? Are we going to... I could see it getting aggressive, doubling production. What's that, 96? Are we saying? And it just goes so on. So in the end, you end up running an Uber type service, but at the same time, you are getting everything at cost price. Put it that way. Pepsi versus Coke, HD DVD versus Blu-ray, Apple versus Android. Adam Goldstein should give you a tour of the facility and a small interview. I would love that, my guy. I'd really love that. I'd love to speak to them guys. I think I've always said that. My name is just Rose, by the way. Okay, Rose, how are we getting on? So it's a high risk rewards thing. One thing about Horizon is they patented the technologies to put the propellers to take off inside the wings correct. I see that being key. The patents aren't as deep as some people believe. I might bring Mark back on at some stage to speak about how deep them patents are. From my understanding, it's all to do with the angle that they close, or to do with the closing of the fan. But there's nothing stopping. Say if it closes from right to left, there's nothing stopping someone from making one that closes from left to right or one that closes from up to down. If you get me. Great technology, but I think ACHR Aviation could make it in the morning with Lillian's patents. I genuinely do. Like, if you think, okay, we saying, I don't think Horizon aircraft have enough in them that they should be valued at like 100 million, but even if they are valued at 100 million, so what we're saying, ACHR throws 10% of the cash at it. What if they throw 20% of the cash at it? Double the amount that Horizon aircraft is worth. I think the big dogs could do it too. Adam should at least give him an interview. It doesn't even need to be Adam, but anyone from the company. Maybe you guys have to call for that. I don't know, my guys. Jonathan and Greed. No, would you like to see more interviews with guys? I know we're very close to vertical aerospace one day, and I actually feel quite bad. I actually fought them off for Horizon aircraft. So, yeah, I probably should reach out there again. ACHR and Joby. Could be a nice one. Could be a nice one. I don't know. What do you think? Would you like it? Would you not like it? Ray, I decided to buy Joby this morning. However, I'm very pleased about owning Horizon, which is built for winter flight missions and optimal safe case. Look, Horizon aircraft, nothing against them. I think they are a great vehicle for what they are used for. I think it's very, I don't know. It's like comparing a Toyota Corolla to a Ford Ranger, etc. Or like they're just two different use cases. It like they kind of do the same thing, but they don't. The only thing they do is vertically take off and land. That is more or less similar to carry people on board, but they are completely different. But yeah, no, I'm happy with that. You know, you're spreading out the risk there. So big shout out. But look, any of you guys have back in Horizon, I am 100% backing you guys. When you guys do well, I'll be the first to congratulate you, yeah, because you had the conviction when even I didn't. You said to me that they're going to get cash, and I said I'll wait until it happens to see the cash come, and then I'll be more confident in investing. Never said they wouldn't get it, but I said I need to see it. And do you know what? They delivered. They know I think it's 23 million in cash in the books. Runway right through 2026. So yeah, happy. Remember Bill Gates versus Steve Jobs? I think that's a controversial topic now. Bill Gates, isn't it? Versus Steve Jobs back when they started the company and the competition. I feel like ACHR and Joby got the same engine. That is a very interesting one, my guy. Microsoft versus Apple. Apart from I think Android actually fits ACHR a little bit better because Microsoft do have a lot of services they run too. But I like your thinking there. We're on the same page, my guy. That would be cool. It actually would be, you know. Guys, smash that like button, please, for me. How many of you out there? There's 80 between the YouTube and X at the moment. Do you know what? Our live streams are actually really starting to fire up lately compared to how they used to. Our one yesterday got what 900 views. The one day 4,000. That's only on YouTube. I haven't even checked X. Today we have 33 likes. Guys, smash that like button while you're there, and also make that wheel spin. We had 4418 on one stage, and someone either I'm gonna be in a positive light today. They accidentally unsubscribed because they thought they were trying to subscribe. So just double check, yeah. The amount of times we've had people that thought they were subscribed and they weren't subscribed. So double check that you are subscribed. And for any of you that don't know, I know most of you do, but subscribing is free. It's not something where I'm taking money. Host Bros do not take money from people. We're not like that. Yeah, everything's free. You're helping me as much as I'm helping you. So you're my friends. I'm just here to chat to you. You know, so look, we're not here to take money from you. All subscribing does, I'll tell you, genuinely, puts me on your homepage. Yeah. So that way I have to do less pushing out because it is such a nightmare. And look, you're going to call me lazy. Yeah. But I do this every single day. Yeah. So I have to write out a description, then I have to transcribe everything. And look, AI has made it a lot easier because there is no way I am writing out everything I have said in a stream. But you notice I do have a bit of a weird accent. So when I try and transcribe a video that I have made, or say a video like this. So look, we're at an hour 44. That take me half the day to subscribe, or not to subscribe, to transcribe. I then have to reread over that to make sure that it's picked me up right, because if it hasn't picked me up right, then it's pretty dodgy. Yeah. Then I'm going to be completely honest with you. Yeah. This is no word of a lie. What I do then, I transcribe that, pull it across to ChatGPT, get it to create a description for me on everything I've said. Then I bring that back across to Word and I reword it in my own words. And that is being honest, yeah. I could say that I sit down and I write a description for you. And I can tell you, no, I don't. Because if I sat down and wrote a description, I know every one of you two people would have read that description. Most of you don't read the description, yeah. All the description's used for is rank me on search engine optimization, yeah. That's all that's for. With subscribing, it bypasses all that and just puts me on your home screen. Then you get to choose. Do you want to watch me or do you not want to watch me? That's your choice. If you don't want to watch, 100%, that's like down to you. I can't force you to watch. But that's all subscribing does. It just makes it easier for me. So if we have a community of 5,000 people, I don't have to be absolutely perfect in everything. And if I don't have to perfect my descriptions and thumbnails, etc., I can create more videos. I can do live streams, etc. Deal. Smart Gaming, you were right about what you said about Martin Lucas Investor streaming the next day. I knew. He blocked me. Did I show you that? He blocked me today after what I said. Was I wrong? I don't think I said anything that was defamatory. Like, I genuinely said that he put up a video alleging that he was banned. I said, I don't believe he is banned, because I said, if YouTube bans you, you would not be able to put a video up. Because if I got banned now, if I said the wrong thing, got banned, I'd be off. The only way I'd be able to contact you is for X. So I said, there's no way. And then he put up another video after that saying, subscribe to my other channels. And then it was join my membership, etc. And then it was join my newsletter, e.g. So I looked at that and I thought, are you being banned? Or are you trying to get people scared? And then you're going, right, you're not going to see me unless you paid to see me. Can you see where I'm going? I'm not accusing. To me, that's what it looked like, yeah? So I just called it out on X. I then ran it through Grok, yeah? Because I went onto his page and asked Grok it. And I was like, is there any evidence to this? Grok, of course, said no, etc. And then I got banned. Same guy, yeah? Yesterday I had some jump into my comments and say, laughing at people while they're kicked down. I want everyone to do well, yeah? I said it yesterday. That person obviously didn't watch my whole stream. I said it yesterday. I don't want him to be banned. I was calling out and laughing at the fact that he's saying he is, when it is so, like, plain with clear as the eye can see that he's not banned. And then using it to monetize it. Yeah? That's what I was laughing at. And I was showing, like, when he sent me voice notes, I was only after losing my father, like, 3 months before. I had said it on the channel. I think I said it on that stream and everything. And I was gutted. And he was actually one of our heroes. He came into our stream and we welcomed him. Before anything, we were welcoming. You can't say we weren't welcoming. If you haven't seen the video, do check it out. But we were welcoming him. And then he started asking people to go across to his channel because he had an exclusive interview over there, which he didn't. And he said we weren't covering the earnings. They were, but the earnings weren't out. And when I called him out on that and all this, apparently we don't work and collaborate, etc., with other YouTubers, which I think we've kind of proved. But since then, he said, no, he sent a voice note. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but it was along the lines of, you will always be small, you don't work with people, etc. But since then, we have tripled in size. We've got some great opportunities. We have a massive, the biggest opportunity I think we have that I could imagine. Yeah, I can't say what it is, But the biggest opportunity that I can imagine, I could not have asked for this to happen this early to us, coming up. And it will get announced in due course, yeah? But again, look, with the Hustle Brothers, what did I say I did? I did have a little dig, yeah. He's the most honest person on YouTube, but I said he will be streaming tomorrow. And you said that he's streaming tomorrow. I said, at the Hustle Brothers, you will get honesty, but you will get some harsh facts. You will get me mood swinging like mad, depending on the market. And look, you will get me losing money, so don't be following me. But yeah, let's go away from that fella. Let's get back to what the Hustle Brothers do best. You was right, Liam. Thank you so much, my guy. If there's two different usage for both Archer and Hover, what would Hover be used for? They travel further because they charge while flying, correct? Maybe military use, long distance delivery. Yeah, so Archer, not Archer. Horizon aircraft are going for more regional flight. So Brandon said it himself. Medical evacuations, the likes of organ transport, etc. He is very, very passionate about the likes of organ transport. Listen to any of the interviews. It is, yeah, long distance travel. He wants to make it back like the 1970s, where there's not as much security and you can just get on the aircraft and where you go. Yeah. Then yes, military side. So Brandon is it an F-18? I don't want to quote it wrong because I know. Look, thank them guys for their service. Any of them ones that are in the military, big shot off what they do. And I don't know the vehicle he flew. It was a fighter jet, but I don't want to quote the wrong vehicle because I could be offending them without knowing. So it was some fighter jet he used to fly. Yeah, so he has very strong military links there. So yes, it is going to be a heavy, heavy military vehicle. But yeah, you won't be seeing them. They're going to be used more city to city rather than inside the city, if you get me. Where Archer Aviation and Joby Aviation, you will not see them. Well, you may, especially when Joby are going for that hydrogen model as well. So, and if Archer, there's nothing saying that Archer's hybrid aircraft that produced from Android can't then be converted back to a commercial use. I know Mark was a very big man for saying that. He used to say, to his credit, that he could see this industry going hybrid before fully electric, and he could see these pivoting to more of what Horizon Aircraft do. And to be fair, Brandon said that himself, that it's so much easier to convert a hybrid engine to a full electric than it is to convert a full electric to a hybrid. So you might be on something there. Hover is well suited for northern climates. It really is. Now, I have said about the whole FIKI certification. FIKI is great. However, it won't surprise me, especially with Archer Aviation. Yeah, so we're saying it costs more to get Archer FIKI certified. But what's saying that the operator won't have to pay for that? So if you want to buy, I want to buy a Cybertruck, yeah? So I can either get the normal Cybertruck, or I can get, there's certain things I can't say on this. I don't know, a winter version Cybertruck. I have to pay extra for this winter version. So if they want to get a FIKI certified, they can get a FIKI certified, etc. If you get what I mean, yeah, you want to adapt your aircraft, there you go. Your eVTOL videos get more views. Do you know what? Big shout out to Vaz though, because this is nothing against Vaz. Yeah, I love what Vaz does. I think anyone that shares their knowledge in this space, I love it because he helps me learn. Hopefully, we can share some knowledge with him, and I'd be open to. There's a line of contact there. I'd be open to having Vaz join the Hustle Brothers, or if Vaz wants to create his own YouTube channel, I'd happily go on and chat to Vaz, etc. Bring him on podcasts like we do with Matan and so yeah. What are the upcoming catalysts for Archer? I'll fly through them quickly, Jay, just because I think we spoke about that about 20 minutes ago. For ACHR Aviation, we have, I want to say it in the same order that I said it before. So ACHR Aviation, we have vertical takeoff and landing, yeah. But genuinely, the EIPP selection probably will come first. Now, I said EIPP selection, we know that's happening. And if we have a market just like we have today, I don't think it's going to do much for the stock. I can't see the stock running because we already know what's happening. Yeah. But in a stock market with nice momentum behind it, yes, any good news will send the stock higher. Then I want to see what we're doing with Andril. I want to hear more about Andril. Will we get a contract? That will be a plus, but I don't know. Will we get one? I said Joby FAA certification, yeah, will push ACHR up. So it's not only just in ACHR's hands, but that will push. Joby ramping up manufacturing will actually push ACHR up because it'll show that it's possible. Yeah. The acquisition of that, I didn't throw that in before. The acquisition of the assembly facility, that Coca-Cola could actually fire the stock up. Delivery into the UAE Q3. If we get in at Q3 and you see Midnight's flying, well, then how much further behind Joby are they? Yeah. Then, of course, going into, I said Q2, but I don't want to get too bogged down in Q2. I could change my mind on that, hopefully closer, but it could go further away. But Q2 2027, I would expect FAA certification. And then we just go into that whole ramp up phase and how we expect ramp up to happen. Microsoft did give Apple a lifeline. Now, the problem is I can't see ACHR or Joby giving each other a lifeline anymore. Yeah. Me and Dylan said that. Now, to be fair, it's probably Dylan that said it more. 2 years ago, was it now at this stage, when Jobin and Adam were best of mates on the stage at the All In podcast. And we said it'd be very interesting to close this gets certification. Are they as pally pally? And we know that since Joby have alleged that ACHR stole trade secrets from them, we know that relationship has been breaking down. So, look, I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth. I don't know, are they still close? But I couldn't imagine they're still close if that's happening. So I wouldn't imagine one giving the other a lifeline. I'd say each other would bury each other if they could. What is my prediction for end of February? Let me have a look. For ACHR, Joby, or the whole sector? Let me quickly look. Will we recover by the end of Feb? We should though. I'm going to go with an optimistic standpoint. Don't take this financial advice. I think ACHR Aviation will be back at $8. I think Joby Aviation will be... I'm going to say $12.50. Yeah. I'm going to say $12.50 because I think there's a lot more to come out about Joby Aviation. I don't think you just do dilution with no news around the corner. So I think Joby Aviation could be in for a 25% run, yeah. That's being optimistic, yeah. I'd have to proper dive into it, but that is going off the top of my head. Horizon Aircraft, very, very hard to predict. Hopefully they're back over $2. But look, we could go the opposite direction in all three of them. So yeah. Have you looked into this company, Powerlight Technologies? It's not publicly traded. It was cool technology uses lasers to recharge drones in the sky. Imagine the future of eVTOLs able to charge, fly. You want me to tell you a secret, my guy? Look at my Narek that Rocket Lab acquired. They were German. They were a German company. Rocket Lab acquired them. And did the same thing. Lays terminals up in space, on the ground, and on the aircraft as well. And there's talks of they will be able to charge. We were speaking about that about 6 months ago. We got into a whole rabbit hole about 6 months ago about could we beam electricity back down? And I think it can go something like 8.4 kilometers. And yeah, look, I could go down that whole rabbit hole again. Distant future, I'm sure, but cool to think about. I don't even think it's that. It's not distant. It's just the amount of electricity that they can receive, I think, for a manned aircraft would be insane because these, like, we won't get it twisted. These do burn an insane amount of electricity for what they can hold. But battery technology is improving, and we do hope to see bigger improvements in battery technology going forward. Guys, you got us to 4420. Guys, smash that subscribe button while you're here. Numbers just keep rising. Can't thank you enough, but do smash that like button as well while you're in it. I'm trying to see, is there anything else that has been happening? Kathy Wood bought today. What did she buy? Nothing we're interested in. Yeah, nothing we're interested in. Guys, do you follow ARK Invest Tracker on X? They're actually quite cool. Every day they show you what ARK Invest bought and sold. I know some of you guys aren't interested in what Kathy Wood does. I actually have a lot of respect for her. I don't follow her trades, but I do like to see what she's doing. Next one is Jim Cramer says financial markets are not looking good. Mate, do you think he sometimes says stuff for attention because he knows it'll just get shared around? Yeah, there's nothing really that's walking out at me. Guys, day 33. I actually want you guys to jump in to the comments after this video and let me know, do you want more live streams? Do you prefer this? I know it goes on quite long for some people. I know I'm going to get people in the comments saying, oh, back to 8-minute videos, etc. I'll say, okay, some people like long, some people hate long, some people like live, some people hate me talking to the comments because they just want the information. I think we're going to try and do a balance of both. But if you prefer live streams, if you wholeheartedly prefer live streams over videos, do let me know. If you like a mix of both. If you prefer videos, though, I'm not going to be offended. If you just prefer videos, as long as you're not offensive about it and say, I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about. If you just say, look, Liam, I prefer 8-minute videos because to me, I just don't have the time to watch live streams. Look, that's understandable, and I'll try and tick the box as many people as I can, but I can't guarantee I can make everyone happy. What are we saying? When is our projection for 5k subscribers? It all depends on what I do. If I bang out videos and do not do live streams, I think we'd be there within 3 weeks. If I continued on this live stream route, I think we're about 6 weeks away. But yeah, by March, the end of March, we will be at 5,000 subscribers. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for coming. There's still 82 of you there. Smash that like on the way out. Do share us round, actually. I quite like that. Hype the video if you can. Guys, start trying to hype videos. I've seen that recently. Yeah, do start trying to hype videos. Smash the like on the way out. And do make that wheel spin. You'll make me a very happy man. Make me a happy man. I want to produce more content. You know what? We don't ask for money. We don't proclaim to win on every trade. We don't Say we've been banned and then not been banned. I'm gonna leave you with that. Yeah, say you've been banned and not been banned. Whatever. I called it out. I'm gonna leave it alone now. He's blocked me. I think that's the last you'll hear about the war between me and him. Thanks for always taking the time to hang with us. Look, you're my friends. I told you, you're my friends. Yeah. I don't help you. You guys help me, honestly. And who was it that said that? If you can make one person smile in a day, you should be proud going to bed. So, you know what? Thank you, guys. And yeah, hopefully we'll have a better day tomorrow. I'm not banking on it, but hopefully we will. Right, guys, until next time, we'll see you then.